Good evening to all of you. Let's try to do some, the topic is wide, time is only 7 minutes, let's try to do some justice. First of all, one issue raised by Venerable Dhammajiva Mahatera, who said he is least qualified. I have some news for you, as I was sharing it with some of my colleagues here. You see, to be a doctor, you have to study for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. To drive a car, you need to get a license for which you have to learn. But to get married and raise children, you don't need any qualifications. And that is the plight we are in. You see, that's the problem. So let's see, Hindu perspective.
Let's go.
See, first let me put I would like to share what Swami Chinmayananda says about children. I would like to quote, "Children are not vessels to be filled, but lamps to be lit." So that is the attitude, what we should have towards children. I would like to share a poet's view about children, Khalil Gibran. Most probably, I don't know whether you've heard about him, what he has to say about children. Your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. Now, this is something I would like to start with regard to what should be our attitude towards children. Now, just to, I think I don't want to repeat all what was said, but the problem itself, as I can see, the violence against children, as I see it, is an expression of, actually the expression of anger, is an expression of perversion, expression of an effort to dominate and obtain obedience, expression to obtain compliance, and also expression of intolerance. This is the reason why we have violence against children. So now we need to understand something. You see, Swami Chinmayananda used to say, man minus values and culture is an animal. You see? So it is the value and the culture which makes a man, a human being. So now we need to understand this. A culture has to be based on values. It should not be a culture for the sake of how to dress, how to celebrate things and all. There have to be value embedded in the culture. And where do you get these values? You get these values from the religion. So unless otherwise we have a culture based on values and the values based on religion, it's very difficult to have a society which can support children. So we need to understand this, and how Hinduism looks at this is that, you see, when people have difficulties in managing their anger, in managing their stress, in managing their desires, and their frustration or their perversion finds the path of least resistance, and that happens to be our children. Because they are, as Reverend said, marginalized. They are in the margin. Nobody is there to protect them. So it happens within the family. Everybody said that, most the violence is committed by the people whom the children they trust. And so it happens at homes and in the school and a little bit in the society as well. So unless otherwise we address this issue with the adults, okay, where we teach the adults how to manage their anger, how to manage their stress, how to manage their desires, they are going to take it out on the children. And today's children are tomorrow's parents. And this is going to go on perpetuating. And as you may have noticed, the society, how the society is moving towards. You see, there are more temptation, so the desire is building up. So when the desire builds up, all of this is going to take off, is going to build up more and more. So unless otherwise, we equip them with the means of managing this is going to be a problem. So what we need to do is, as a society we are advancing in terms of science, in terms of economy, etc. And we are gaining certain degrees of dominance over these things. So towards the external, we are managing to conquer. But to that extent, we are not conquering our internals, our mind, our thinking, our desires, etc. So, you may have power over somebody, but if you do not have the power over your own thinking, you are going to abuse it. And that is what is happening. And as I said, path of the least resistance. Children are going to be on the receiving end. So this is something which we need to understand, and as a society, we need to educate everyone. And as a doctor, and one more thing I want to share with you, and with that, I would like to end in the interest of the time. In Hinduism, about early childhood. First is, in a man's life, there are 16 samskaras. We call it Shodasa Samskara. Samskara is something, a ritual, or it's a creation of an impression in the mind, psychological impression. There are 16. Out of these 16, 3 of these samskaras are performed during the pregnancy. And another 8 of these samskaras are performed during the early childhood, as doctor said. The whole idea of this is to create that positive impression in the child. Right psychological framework in the child, not only in the child. The mere fact that you are performing this sanskara actually is an effort to create this awareness among the parents and other caregivers also, that you have something precious in your hand and you have to take care of it. So this is what Hinduism is talking about. And also I would like to highlight a few things, few issues we have in the society which we need to challenge as well. And with that I would like to end it. First thing is, we cannot treat the children as equals. Because when you treat your child as equal, then you expect that child to behave like an adult. And when the child doesn't behave, then the violence begins. So this is something we have to understand, and as a society we have to be very careful. So say, are we doing this? So let's say we were talking about beauty pageants for children. Now what are you doing in the beauty pageants, and how do you dress your children? You are treating like adults, and you say how cute he looks. Okay, then our mindset changes. We don't treat them like children. Then they become objects. He is no longer, that child is no longer your daughter. Now you are looking at that as a grown up. So see how these things change. So we need to understand these things. And also there is one more thing I would like to highlight is, again, we use children in advertisements. You see, there again, what are we doing there? So we actually, when you talk about child labor and all, we shout and scream. But is it okay to use children in the advertisement, where you are manipulating the adults using children, and you are manipulating the children using children for what? To eat pizza, to sell instant noodles. Is it healthy? So these are the things which we are doing using children. So these are the things which we need to challenge. So with that, I would like to end this talk, because I think time is up. Okay, I would like to keep it within the time. And maybe I would like to share some more later when I get some time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.